Are you a creator, an entrepreneur, a small business owner, or anyone who's ready to get started on YouTube, but you don't want to waste time or money or energy doing it all wrong? Well, you are in the right place because we are starting a brand new series here on the podcast sharing how to get started on YouTube right. My name is Heather Torres, and you are listening to the Think Marketing Podcast. If you're new here, welcome. We release a brand new episode every single Tuesday. So make sure to subscribe wherever you're consuming this content from. And we want to say thank you to everyone who has been sharing this podcast with your friends. We love seeing you share it on social media and tag us. So continue to share out the podcast if this is bringing you value and you want to share it with someone who it can help. Well, we are jumping into this next 4-part series here on the podcast, and we've titled this one, How to Start YouTube Right, the 4 pillars of a high impact and highly profitable YouTube channel. We're going to be covering how to claim and master your topic, how to understand your audience's problems and ambitions, how to create a significant post per week, and my favorite, the shortest path to revenue. We're going to dive into this with myself and Sean Cannell here from Think Media, and we are going to be giving you our perspective and some stories we've actually never shared before. So make sure you are dialed into today's podcast and you're ready for the next 3 that are coming up. Well, let's get into today's conversation with myself and Sean Cannell. Well, Sean, I'm excited for this topic because it really leads people into setting up YouTube right. And I want to start off with this quote by Zig Ziglar. He says, "Don't become a wandering generality, be a meaningful specific."
I love that quote. And I think, Zig Ziglar, the famous business and leadership teacher, said that before social media, before the internet, before YouTube, but it's so true because a lot of us struggle with kind of being generalists. We're multi-passionate. We want to talk about a lot of different things on YouTube. But if you want to stand out and you want to cut through the noise, you got to niche down and you got to be a meaningful specific. You want to be something specific that's helping a specific person and really claiming and mastering your specific topic. And so I'm excited about these questions.
Yeah, and these are 7 positioning questions. These are 7 clarity questions because the reason we put claiming and mastering your topic as number 1 is because it really is the domino effect to all the other steps we're going to be talking about in other episodes. Now, question number 1 is, what are you passionate about? Why is number 1 such an important part about getting started on YouTube?
Yeah, I think that you do want your business to be based around your passion. Sometimes in your YouTube channel, sometimes passion can kind of be overrated because, I heard it said once of somebody that was in waste management where he was like, well, it's not that I actually love waste management, but I do love the profit and the opportunity that this business produces for my family. So you might be in a business, a YouTube channel that you're not super passionate about, but if you want to sustain the hustle and the ability to press through quitting points and get over setbacks that are going to come your way and even discouragement and the hard days, it's nice to be really passionate about your YouTube content, the topic that you're talking about, so that you can sustain your YouTube channel over the long haul. And it's going to keep you interested, keep you engaged. What are you passionate? What do you keep wanting to learn about, keep learning about? Even though you might be good at it now, you want to go even deeper in it. If that's something that you're building your YouTube channel around, then you're going to be able to build over the long haul.
Yeah, and it reminds me, we had you and Sonia over for dinner one time, Omar and Amanda over, and we're all sitting around the kitchen table, and you and Omar are going back and forth about cameras, right? You're talking about this camera and this frame rate, and Isaiah, my husband, he looks over and he's like, why are we talking about work? And you said to him, because we're just passionate about this, whether it's our job or whether it's just sitting around a kitchen table, it's what we love to do. And I think that's such a key to the sustainability of YouTube. Number 2, so we're going to give you these 7 questions. Number 1 was, what are you passionate about? So podcast listener, be writing these down because you'll want to answer these. Number 2, what problem do you solve? And then we'll get into number 3 also, what can you do to help people? Let's dive a little deeper just on those 2 right there.
Yeah, when I think about what problem do you solve, we teach at Think Media, really we help people build businesses around their YouTube channel. I definitely understand that YouTube's a great place to maybe express a hobby, build community. There's a lot of cool things you could do, but we want to help people build profit and really impact people. So we use the term entrepreneurs a lot because that's really what a YouTube creator is that wants to make profit from YouTube. And specifically, this is what I define entrepreneurs as. Entrepreneurs solve problems for a profit. So you want to ask yourself, what problem do you solve? If you think about clothing brands solve fashion problems, or if it's fitness kind of clothing, they solve the functionality or the sweat wicking. You think about food solves hunger problems. You think about even people that are in ministry, they solve spiritual problems. You think about a marriage counselor solves marriage problems. So what problem do you solve? And while a lot of people that have like entertainment-based channels get value from our content, it's really educators that love Think Media the most because they are people that are solving problems, teaching something, helping people learn something, helping people get from one place to another place. We help people build their influence with video. We help people learn YouTube. On your channel, you help people with homeschool, right? We have Nicole, who from Kids OT Help, she helps new moms. Now I'm a new dad, figure out how to do tummy time and what are the best, bouncies and accessories and toys. Ben in our community helps people with the ketosis diet. So what problem do you solve? But then also, how do you help people? When I think of how, is also like, what's your unique way of doing it? Mm-hmm. Even like, there's a lot of people that maybe help people gain muscle or lose weight, but keto is one way. Mm-hmm. There's also the Atkins diet. There's also paleo. There's also being a vegan. There's a million different approaches. So also, how can you help people? Like, what's maybe your unique process? What's your proprietary process? That's kind of what comes to me to really help getting clear on claiming and mastering your topic.
Yeah, so impactful and important to remember that we are here to solve problems for people. And when you put yourself out in a service way, I feel like you get a bigger reward because you're seeing bigger results rather than content being about you. It's helping someone solve a problem. So I love that is one of the clarity questions. We're going to rapid go through these other ones because I know you've got a really good example, but the next one is, what do you have results in? And I'd love for you to just give maybe a thought on that because it's so important when you get started on YouTube that you have results in what you're teaching.
I totally agree. And I think there's two sides to this coin. One, someone might be discouraged if they're like, well, I'm just starting. I don't actually feel accomplished. And the encouraging news is you just have to be one or two steps ahead to help somebody accomplish those one or two steps. It makes me think of like a real estate agent 1 year into their career. They've learned a lot in that first year. What are the mistakes I made in that first year? What would I have done differently in that first year? What are the learnings and the books and the training that I've done in that first year to just help somebody else go further faster? So it's not like you have to be that far ahead, but what is powerful is if you've been studying something for years, immersed in something for years. For me, it was video. I started video in 2003 at my church, and we'll talk a little bit more about the story later, but fast forward 10 years and I'm still studying it. I've made the mistakes. I've done the things. So I just had results in video. So I started helping people with video. That's what I think about when I think about results.
Yeah. And for me, when I started homeschooling, it was kind of the same thing. I had been on my own personal journey and I thought, man, I wish there was someone here where I am that could have helped me along the way. And so having results doesn't necessarily mean you tangibly make money or you have helped so many people. It's the idea that you've gotten results in some way of being measurable. I started homeschooling my kids. They were not dead. I win, right? So it's the idea that you have to have some results before you get started. How about the next question, number 5, how can you stand out in a crowded market?
Yeah, to me, that's just what makes you different. I mean, there's definitely going to be somebody else doing what you're doing. There's going to be somebody else helping people with parenthood or with personal finance or with video. But what's your unique way of doing it? And we'll expound on that a little bit more later.
And then number 6, what will people pay you for? And number 7, what business do you want to be in? I know you've got a really good example when you apply this to maybe the finance industry, because there's some big hitters in the finance industry that are standing out and being different, that are having people pay them for their products, that have different viewpoints, all in the same niche.
Yeah. And so when I think about what will people pay you for, that's just, even though you might want to start because influence comes first and then income comes second, you do want to think about what's the business model going to be. Are you going to create an online course, write a book, create an audio program, do conferences? Are you going to do YouTube ads, affiliate marketing? And what business do you want to be in? And a great example is thinking about personal finance, a very powerful niche, popular niche. Why? Because everyone has money issues. Everyone's trying to figure out how to save money, make money. And I think about different characters. One would be like Dave Ramsey. Like, I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan. I didn't cut up my credit cards, but I do follow very conservative financial principles because with self-discipline, I'm like, I want those points. You know what I mean? I want to get the airline miles. And we're completely disciplined, always pay off our card every single month. And so when I think about like what's he passionate about? Passionate about personal finance. What problem does he help people solve? Helps people get out of debt. You know, how can he help people? He has a unique way of doing it. More conservative, the envelope method. People have different approaches to it. He has a unique way of doing it. What does he have results in? Well, he's not only made money, he's helped people, he's built businesses, he's recovered from massive real estate things that he went through early on. How does he stand out in a crowded market? He has kind of that old school shoot it straight, tell you how it is. And his, again, approaches to finances are different than others. What does people pay him for? You can pay for Financial Peace University. You can pay for his books. You can pay for his events. I think you can pay for his certified financial planners and different people that will help you get your money right. Eventually, maybe setting up 401ks. I don't even know. It goes on and on and on. And he's built a massive business. And that's kind of the business model he's in, is sort of this infopreneur, educational, self-education type of industry. He's got an app now that you can pay for monthly. And I think these types of characters are what we really recommend. YouTube is a great platform to build a business and a brand like Dave Ramsey has built. People go to YouTube for education, and then it can lead into paid education later on. So Dave is a great example of answering all those different questions. But I think about the power here is you could also compare him to somebody like Robert Kiyosaki. You would answer a lot of those questions the same, but the things that are different would be, well, he solves the problems in different ways. He actually, Dave says, never, ever get into debt almost for any reason. And Robert Kiyosaki's like leverage debt like crazy. So you don't pay taxes. You know, I think he mentioned he's like $700 million in debt, but that's all of his hotels and all of the leverage that he's done and all of the different things. So it's a completely different approach. They don't agree at all, but they're both massively influential. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you know, is one of the best-selling personal finance books of all time. And so there's a lot of space. There's a lot of room to bring your unique approach, your unique process to answer these questions for you, but to not be necessarily afraid or intimidated by the competition, if you will. And then you even can think multi-generationally, because let's just give one more example. Graham Stephan, one of the most influential personal finance YouTubers now. And he's definitely kind of a new kid on the block compared to Dave and Robert, who've been around. But they've got a fan base, they've got book readers, they've got email lists. They've been doing this for a lot of years. Started on radio, all kinds of different things. Well, Graham is just the new school. I mean, those listening to Think Media and Think Marketing, this is the opportunity. Is a new generation is maybe not going to listen to them in the same way. Their approach, his YouTube editing style, understanding YouTube culture, understanding thumbnails. So he brought a lot of similar information as well as his own unique approach to this industry. And so no matter what your niche is, you want to dial in these questions and figure out, you know, basically, how can you stand out in a crowded market? What makes you different, even if you feel like your industry has competition?
Yeah, and this is all around that idea of claiming and mastering your topic. And one thing I love about the example of all three of those characters, those gentlemen, really is that they are devoted to spending hours. I am not devoted to spending hours researching personal finance things. While I am the same way, conservative and understanding how money works, these people are so committed to bringing the latest and the greatest and really understanding their topic. And while Dave now does talk about leadership and Robert now talks about investments in other ways and really is helping a new generation, they really are so coined into what they're passionate about and what problem they solve. So I love that those were three that you brought as an example. I'd love to hear your story, Sean, because when you think about, you know, how you got to where you are at Think Media now, with over 2 million subscribers on all your platforms, but not just the subscribers and the numbers, but really building a sustainable company. You started as a small town kid, grew up on a farm. You're here in this studio doing this podcast. How did you get there? When you think about claiming and mastering your topic, I'd love to hear about where did you go when that was the direction you wanted to go in?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things to know is, number one, the process was messy. It's a process. It took years, and it was non-linear. I didn't have the Think Marketing podcast and these 7 questions to help me. I was kind of just stumbling through and trying to figure it out. And so, what are you passionate about? Well, I was passionate about video, but I actually didn't really see my passion or the lens of these other questions yet, because I was multi-passionate. Well, I'm passionate about snowboarding. I'm passionate about music. I'm passionate about video. I'm passionate about my faith. I'm passionate about leadership. So I could have that'd be a pretty weird YouTube channel, the snowboarding leader who's teaching you video. It'd be kind of all over the place. That would be a wandering generality, not a meaningful specific. But I did experiment a lot. So the first channel I started was my personal channel, Cannell, and I learned a lot, but it was super random. And that was one reason why it never really broke through the noise and it never really grew, because I was doing like movie reviews, cooking tutorials, sharing my thoughts, vlogging. I was kind of all over the place. And it wasn't really until I dialed in these other questions where I started to realize, okay, well, what problem do you solve? Well, man, I've really gone deep on this video thing. And I actually can't really help somebody become a better snowboarder. I could probably help somebody kind of get some beginner, but I'm not a snowboarding coach. I can cook some things because my mom was a nutritionist, and my stepdad, Phil Escalin, is an amazing grill master. So I learned a lot of things, but I'm not like an all-time cook. It was like, what was my depth? So then I layered on, man, that's what the problem that I solve. How do I help people? Well, I began to figure out a process, which we're trying to commit to as much as possible here at Think Media and Think Marketing, of helping the everyday person. I started seeing the difference of best camera for YouTube, but actually talking to people at kind of just a real and raw level, and trying to remove the tech speak, the geek speak. And it's grown to the massive numbers we're seeing today. So just trying to figure out my own process. I had results in it. I'd helped churches, and I started a business eventually. I started freelancing and I didn't know this was really happening at the time, but as I look back through the lens of these questions, I'm like, man, this was the buildup. And what do I have results on? I started a business called Clear Vision Media. I started to do freelance video work. I made a lot of mistakes, had some success, did some music videos for local Seattle hip hop rappers. I did local insurance companies, YMCA videos, as well as helping other YouTube creators. And so just having results, helping them do things, helping small businesses rank videos and learn YouTube SEO. And then I started to discover, like we teach, different ways to earn money, whether that's affiliate marketing, as you get more views, YouTube ads, eventually packaging your expertise through the first few questions in something like an online course. And we have those educational programs here at Think Media, help people go faster. And I made a decision eventually, again, stumbling kind of through, getting some drips of income of, man, I want to be in the education industry. We saw Forbes do an article that the e-learning industry is going to be about $1 billion a day industry by 2025. Mm-hmm. The pandemic's accelerated that, so it's going to be even bigger. That's a lot of space to build a business and a life on your own terms. In this particular case, writing books, online courses, teaching, speaking, live streams, content, and all the ways we teach on monetizing it. So at some point, it was actually a conscious decision it's the business I want to be in. So I want to find alignment of all 7 of these questions. And I've been refining that over time. And I think the encouragement I'd want people to hear is this is over a decade of a process. I believe that at Think Media and through the Think Marketing podcast, we can help people compress decades into days and shorten their learning curve. It's still going to be frustrating. You're still going to maybe feel torn between multiple different passions. But if you keep working on getting clarity on claiming and mastering your topic, I really believe that you can get there a lot faster than I did.
Yeah. And, I completely agree with you, just kind of the alignment of those 7 questions. My journey is similar in the idea that I did feel like a wandering generality. I was the same way. And I think so many people can relate to that. There's so many little things that you are good at, and it's figuring out, well, which one do I want to go down? What path do I want to go down? And for me, it really lined up with where I was in the season of life. I was a younger mother. I was married, a younger mother, and I wanted to be at home with my kids. And I had other jobs, other paths that I thought were going to be career paths that led me outside of the home. And I knew I wanted to impact my family on a larger scale, but I also had this burning passion to help people with the things I was good at, which were digital marketing. And I was obsessed with learning, how could social media help businesses? How could online advertising help businesses? And I had done some random things too, like being a wedding planner, being a fitness instructor, and all of those things. The dots line up when I think about 10 years ago wanting to help people, and here we are sitting here helping people. And so it's the same thing. I had to walk through these 7 questions year after year after year. And so the clarity of learning how to claim and master your topic may not be super clear at first. It will be something that will be a journey through the process. But I'm just grateful that, these 7 questions, you have them now, Think Marketing Podcast, that you can actually start going and diving into, well, what results do I have? Or what am I passionate about? Or how can I stand out in a crowded market? For me specifically, I'm here doing this with you, and it isn't a large female community, right? Like teaching YouTube isn't necessarily a large female community. So how do I stand out in the market we're in is that you and I are able to impact 2 markets at the same time. And it's really encouraging to know that, over time, by just sticking with these 7 questions, with diving in deeper, with really wanting to claim and master your topic, that you can become a meaningful specific. And so that's just encouragement for people who may not feel qualified, may not feel like they've got the right qualifications to do what they're passionate about. It reminds me of Omar El-Takori on the Think team. He is so passionate about so many things. And we had a conversation one time where he said, I really want to impact people. And he was going in a different direction. And we had a conversation where I said, well, you can impact those same people doing media, and that can really break through. And lately he's had some really amazing opportunities to be speaking to the people he wanted to speak to, but using the gifts and talents through these 7 questions. So it's just really interesting that, both of us in different paths have been able to come together and help the next gen, I guess you could say, really understand that there's a market on YouTube for them, just like there is for Dave Ramsey and Robert Kiyosaki and Graham Stephan. Now, both of us actually got around the right people too. We're going to talk about that later because that's a big impact, is to get around the right people. But it's all about claiming and mastering your topic. What does that actually mean though? So, okay, claim and master your topic. Give me a little bit more about what does that mean to go deeper into that topic.
Yeah, I think that, kind of to land the plane is when we say claim and master your topic in our 4-part series, these are the first 4 steps we want everybody to go through that we believe are critical, like building blocks of success on YouTube this year. And so the first part is committing to mastery in something specific, because it's master your topic. So what are you going to commit to mastery in? And sometimes we could be afraid, we have fear of failure. Mm-hmm. What if I try this and fail? What if I give years of my life to this and I fail? Well, fear is false evidence appearing real. When you commit to getting better, when you commit to leveling up, you can really make a difference, but it also, you just don't know what you don't know. We can't guarantee that on the other side you're going to succeed, but we can guarantee you're not going to succeed if you don't take action. So the courage is, what topic are you going to commit to mastery in? It wasn't just, I sort of stumbled into video. My youth pastor handed me a video camera, said start making videos. But after doing it for years, by just kind of like going through the current of life, I actually got clear and said, I'm going to actually go deeper. And now, years later, more than ever before, I'm more focused on still getting better, still leveling up, still mastering YouTube at a different level. So I've made a decision to mastery in YouTube. And what I love is, as we grow in life, I just turned 37, and I'm starting to learn that, like, man, that's just why I listen to Graham Stephan, because just like you said, I'm not going to take the time. I need to listen to other experts in their field, and that's, I think, the opportunity of our world working synergistically together. Like, really, when we see people mastering individual topics, helping others, like, Dave, give me your framework, bro, because I'm just going to go deep on YouTube. But I want to ask the Think Marketing Podcast, what topic are you going to commit to mastering? And even if you're already good at it, double down on mastering it even more. Commit to mastery in something specific. And then secondly, make sure to have the courage and discipline to claim and commit to one topic. That could be very scary. That's what I was hesitant to for years. At one point, I think of my social media bio, it said I was working at a church, pastor, church communicator, author, speaker, dog lover, husband to Sonia Cannell, all true, but that's not the kind of social media bio that cuts through the noise on the internet. It was the courage to change my social media bio and really my YouTube focus to I help people build their influence with online video. That was the pivot for me. We started to realize recently that it's actually online video is even a little broad and still great. And I'm sure a lot of people have been getting value out of what we do through our multiple brands, but even better is YouTube. So lately I hope people build their influence with YouTube, like narrowing down. I want to challenge you, listener, have the courage and the discipline to plant your flag, to claim and commit to one topic. And through the lens of that one topic, you know what's crazy? We get to talk about leadership. We get to talk about teamwork. We get to, because it applies to YouTube, but YouTube becomes the one topic for us that we use as a lens with which we talk about all the other business, marketing, paid ads. We do Facebook ads, even though YouTube is our, like there's a million things, but it starts to get organized around your one topic. So friend, what is your one topic? That's a question that you want to answer.
Yeah. And I think what I want to leave the podcast listeners with is the idea that you want to be known for one thing first. And so when you claim and master a topic, it is being known for that one thing. And it can be hard. I love how you said, what was the fear? That was amazing.
False evidence appearing real.
Come on. That is such a good one. I'm going to write that one down. But I think it really is the fear of, well, I'm going to close people off. I'm not going to be able to reach people. There's not going to be enough. Friend, if other people are doing what you want to do and they're successful, that means you can do it too. And I think that was probably the hardest leap of faith for me, was actually saying, no, I'm going to commit to just digital marketing. I'm going to commit to being someone who understands Facebook ads and understands YouTube ads and understands digital marketing on a massive scale. And I think once that commitment happens, I love how you said the courage and discipline. Once you discipline yourself to just hone in on that one topic, you will see success in other areas. So I want to leave that with the listeners. You've got those 7 questions. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about more on this 4-part series. Well, that was the first part of this 4-part series where we're helping you get started on YouTube right. These are the 4 pillars to creating a high impact and high profitable YouTube channel. And my action step for you, action taker, is to answer those 7 questions. It's really critical that you sit down, take some time and answer these questions. It's what's really going to help give you that launching pad to creating the right type of content for your audience. And as we go deeper into these next 3 episodes, I wanted to let you know that today's episode and this entire series is brought to you by our YouTube Starter Kit. Now, if you're ready to get started on YouTube, which I know you are because you're here listening to this podcast, and you feel overwhelmed with titles and thumbnails and all the things that go into creating a successful YouTube channel, well, we've put together some of our best resources that we offer here at Think just for you. And right now you can save over 70% off of that starter kit. Included in the starter kit is a resource called our 51 video ideas to jumpstart your channel. We give you plug and play 51 ideas, the next 51 videos that you could be making for your channel. And we also give the 15 best YouTube title formulas. These are the exact title formulas that we have spent years actually perfecting so that you get the clicks, you get the views, and you get people watching your videos. We also included how to create awesome YouTube thumbnails with a step-by-step training all about Lightroom and Photoshop and how to create eye-catching thumbnails that'll get the clicks, and our 51 money-making ideas for YouTube. We want you to be profitable on your channel so that you can build a legacy around your company. And we want to help you do that by offering these 51 money-making ideas that'll get you started right. You also get access to our Think Gear Guide that gives every single type of YouTube kit for every type of YouTube budget, all the way starting from an iPhone into some really expensive and awesome setups. So you want to make sure you get access to that right now at tubestarterkit.com. And again, we're giving that to you for over 70% off. Now, I want to bring up the comment of the day, and this comment was epic. This is from Leap and Larry, and Leap and Larry says, watched all 3 episodes when I first found it. Great path to YouTube wisdom. Here's an update though. I have continued to listen as this podcast has grown, and it's helped us go from 100 to over 5,000 subs so far in 2020. Don't miss an episode. That is amazing. That right there is the vision of the Think Marketing Podcast. We want to see you become successful on YouTube because we know when you can get your message out through video that you can reach the people that you want to reach. Now, I want to encourage you that if you found value in today's episode, or as we walk through these next 3 episodes, that you share this podcast with the leaders and the people in your community that need to know this information, that you know need to be starting a YouTube channel. So you can share this episode with them. They can watch it and consume it on all places that podcasting happens on, as well as on YouTube. Now, in our next episode, we're going to be diving into the best video ideas for beginners and how to find them for your specific niche. We've done a lot of research on what types of videos people are looking for, and we're going to share that exact strategy with you in the next episode coming up. So you don't want to miss that one. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of the Think community. I think it's so important that as the world is changing like never before, that we are coming together and helping each other, resourcing each other with great value that's going to help us all grow. So I want to thank you, and I want to acknowledge you for spending time with us today and for being a part of this community. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.